Okay, day two. We're going to kick off with the Turners. Martin Dixon, what's the money? What's the one that you think is the most likely winner of the Turners?
Well, the bet the bet that I have had, this is a race I've already played in. I've backed Saw Tudor for Willie Mullins. Hopefully he goes here. I don't know that for sure yet, because obviously there's...
The vibes are he's most likely to go to this.
Yes.
Isn't he, Johnny?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Him and King Rascal Grey,
Yeah.
those two, yeah.
Yeah, and I think King Rascal Grey will probably be a slightly shorter price than Saw Tudor. Maybe Townend will ride King Rascal Grey, so slight negative there. But I do like Saw Tudor's form. I think when he beat I'll Sort That in a bumper last season, he absolutely left him for dead, didn't he? He left him 12 lengths or so at Fairyhouse in a bumper. Ran really well in the champion bumper last season, finished ahead of one of the favourites for this race, No Drama This End on that occasion. I just think he's a good horse. Probably a little bit of inexperience, maybe got him beaten last time out when he finished behind I'll Sort That, who set a decent gallop but still got quite an uncontested lead. And they omitted a couple of flights of hurdles up the home straight as well last time. Saw Tudor travelled well in the pack, couldn't quite pick off I'll Sort That, but I think he's overpriced. He's around 12, 14 to 1. He's a good horse on his bumper ability and what he's done already over hurdles. I think he might be better on better ground as well over an intermediate trip. So I do quite like Saw Tudor at the prices.
What's your opinion? Obviously, Paul Nicholls, No Drama This End. He's really talking him up, has been from word go. What's your opinion what he's done so far?
I like him. He's solid, but unspectacular. He's done it well, everything he's done, but I don't rate the form of any of his races that highly. I think the Irish novices have probably got a little bit of an edge in this race, to be honest. And we've seen it time and again where, I know the New Lion won it last year, but generally speaking, over sort of the last 10, 15 years, the British trained novices in this division have not quite come up to scratch. And I wonder if we're back there again with No Drama This End. Really like the horse, but I'd be kind of on the way that Johnny was with Old Park Star in this race, that I just feel like he might be slightly vulnerable and probably going to be a better horse over fences next season.
Okay, your opinion about the takeout Saw Tudor, the rest of the Irish contingent, Skylight Hustle, Ballyfad, and I'll Sort That. Does he come into the reckoning? He does run in this race after beating Saw Tudor in this.
He beat Saw Tudor last time. As I say, I'd just go back to that bumper, and I can't help but think Saw Tudor's a better horse. I know they've running a 2.5 mile hurdle against each other, but it was very testing ground. I'll Sort That. I'd have 3 or 4 starts already. He started off in September. Saw Tudor was second start of the season. Different type of race, as I say. They left I'll Sort That in front on his own. It was bottomless ground. He handled it all really well. And I do think Saw Tudor would turn that form around in a competitive, end-to-end gallop, contested pace, better ground. I think Saw Tudor would turn that form around with him at a different stage of the season as well. For me, I'll Sort That, if he had a chance in a race like this, would need pretty testing ground conditions like it was last time out, but likeable horse. I think they probably should go up in trip with him. I don't know whether they might do. Still got that option. Others in the race, King Rascal Grey's likeable. I think he has got a squeak, to be fair, because I think he'll improve off the Leopardstown run. Ballyfad will probably improve up in trip, but it's more a price point. I think Saw Tudor is a good horse, and he's a double figure price, and I think he's got a chance in an open race.
Okay, good stuff. A bit of value as well about Saw Tudor. Bit of a price. That's what it's all about. It's all about value. And winners, Johnny, what wins the Turners?
I'm not 100% sure. I don't have a huge opinion. Look, I have a feeling No Drama This End might find 1 or 2 too good. He's a smart horse for sure, but you just suspect something might beat him. His form isn't wonderful, although it did get a boost by Montmaris that won the race down in Kelso. The first sign of anything good to come out of Cheltenham hurdle, so I wouldn't dismiss him entirely, but I have no huge opinion. I think the Irish horses are much of a muchness. There's not a lot between 5 or 6, but I just have a feeling that Mullins is going to flash horses here at the festival that have going to do stuff that we've never seen before, and it'll be like a Saw Tudor or maybe a King Rascal Grey or a Soap or something like that are going to win these races, and maybe this race and the 3 mile race. I just have a feeling that his horses are maybe just 1 run behind this year of what we've seen before, and there are going to horses from his stable going to produce maybe performances that we wouldn't have envisaged, and I could see it happening in this race. And I would kind of half agree with Martin. I think Sartudo has a good chance, that's for sure.
Votes of confidence for Sartudo. Darragh Henry is nothing in this, I don't think, does he?
He does actually. His horse walks in June. He won a maiden in Limerick early on the year, and then he went to Navan and disappointed, and he got a favourable mark, and he probably made use of it then at Christmas, and he won. So look, he's a huge big price, but he's actually working well at home. You know, we always thought he was a nice horse, so you know Henry's horse is over there at big prices. I wouldn't be surprised if he outran his odds. I think this is a deep race still, though. I like Ballyfad, to be honest. Thought he was very impressive at Christmas, beating leader Dahlia. He was well found in the day. I think the step up and trip will suit him. I think the most interesting thing, which one Jackal rides, either him or Skylight Hustle, I think that would be a big indicator for it. But yeah, I like Ballyfad, to be honest. I think he's very solid. And I think he was just beaten by maybe a dash the last day might have suited him. So I think Ballyfad, and I think when they'll have Declan Quealy's horse passed, they'll know all about it. I'll sort that. I don't think there was any fluke in Sartudo. We meet them by the last day. He went a proper gallop. He's hardened, and I think this is probably the right race for him as well, because I think Declan will probably make a run on him, and I think when they'll have him pants, they'll know all about it, to be honest.
He's had 2 winners already this week, Declan Quealy. Spoke to him yesterday after his winner, albeit in Claim and Company yesterday at Naas, but he said, I'll sort that, couldn't be in better form. He is going, not surprised he's going to ride it himself as well.
Yeah, no, exactly, and he's definitely an improving horse. I wouldn't be worried about the grounds. He won the Stole on Yielding. I think he won in Galway and good to Yielding. He's won all grounds, and he went a proper gallop on testing ground in Naas, and you'd be on about hurdles in or out. He was in front a long ways, and to my eye anyway, Sartudo wasn't getting any closer to him.
Okay, Aidan Coleman.
I was literally just saying to Martin off thing there, I'll sort that, who I think is the value of the race, and I never looked up what he was by, and he's by a horse called Sand Mason. It's probably one of the worst horses ever to get up in a mare, but a few years ago, when he was standing as
a few alongside him now, I'd say.
Well, if you look at his stats, they're horrendous. He was basically a half-bred sire until a festival a couple of years ago, and he had Black Op and Somerville Voy. And the next year, I'd say he covered 200 mares and didn't get a winner. And I'm not joking here now. I promise you now. I actually genuinely think I'll sort that is the value here, because Declan Quealy's a very, very good trainer, but he doesn't have the name of Willie Mullins, Henry, Gordon, Willie, whatever. If Talk to Talk turns up here, he'd be my idea of a winner. The stat for the Challow, is it like no winners from the last 20 runners until the New Lion last year, something like that, wasn't it? I think No Drama this end falls in that bracket. I don't think you're gonna see the best of him until next year. I think he could be a future Gold Cup horse. Couldn't have him in this race. Very, very good horse, but I can't have him. Talk to Talk for me, and the value is I'll sort that.
So you think Talk to Talk could be switched to this race?
Martin tells me the exchanges says the same. I tipped him up the other day for this race as a pure guess. I think this would be more his cup of tea than the 2 mile on the Tuesday.
Why do you think that?
I just thought, I know he did really well to win the other day, but he needed every bit of it. He was probably badly positioned in a way, but at the same time, albeit on heavy ground, he didn't pick up as well as I'd like to think to show speed enough to win a Supreme Novice on near what's going to be probably good watered ground.
Okay, interesting thoughts. Dogs, you probably won't be having a bet in this because he'll have won so much money in the opening day. He won't be go up on it.
He'll be in Benidorm. He'll be in Benidorm.
You'll either be big and strong or very low.
Whatever bet I have in this race will be minimal. I think it's way too open. It's way too hard. There are too many unexposed horses. I agree with what Darragh said. I think Ballyfad's the most likely winner. He's a point-to-point winner. He's won a bumper. I thought he got mugged on the line by Joseph's there. I think he'll love to step up and trip. Gordon's won the race with Emboy Allen and Sam Crow. He knows what it takes to win. I have a couple of quid each way on Ballyfad, but bar that, I have no strong opinion on the race.
You like to be celebrating or drowning your sorrows from the day
I
before?
don't like drinking Guinness on track.
Oh, do that? Why?
It's not very good.
Right. Okay. Very interesting. We're going to move on to the Brown Advisory. Darragh O'Keefe, you got a big ride in this and a mare with a big chance in the big Westerner.
Yeah, well, Henry is 2 in it. He's the big Westerner, which is a very good mare. She's taken well defence chasing. She was second to Jimmy Desai and Fairy House. She was very good at Limerick at Christmas. Would have a preference for softer ground. But she's a very good mare. Second in the Albert Varta last year. Loads of stamina. She's in very good form at home. And I think he's strong in the. I think Cocktail Devon, with the ground drying out, he's a very good horse as well. People might question the trip about him. He's obviously favoured for the novice handicap chase as well, but I'd been trying to forgive him not staying in Punchestown. The day Oscar's brother probably outbattled him, I thought. Cocktail Devon was having his second run on fences. Conor King's horse, Oscar's brother, I think was having his third or fourth, and he had a couple of good rulers in 3 mile handicap hurdles as well. So I just think Cocktail Devon was maybe, he won hard race last year and entry on nice ground. So I think on decent ground, there's every chance he'll come into the reckoning in the race as well.
He is going to run in this race, not in the handicap.
Yeah, I think that's what our Henry saying yesterday. They were leaning towards. They were if the grounds unless it was going to be slow ground, they were favouring this race.
The big Westerner, you're obviously concerned about the ground drying out for her.
Yeah, she ran there last year. I think it was good to soft, they were calling it. She did run really well. But she's definitely better on slower ground, I think. But she's a very good mare, and if it was slow, she'd be, I think she'd take a bit of beating in it. Yeah. Listening
to the way you're speaking, sounds like you're siding more towards riding Cocktail even if the ground dries out.
Look, it's you don't really know until you kind of get over there and see what the ground is like, and yes, it's a beautiful. And I was just listening to John Pullen there. I think they're kind of good to soft on the old course. I think the new course is good to soft, good in places. So definitely wouldn't be one to get any drier for anyway. Yeah.
Okay, so basically, whichever one you ride, Cocktail even, I'm only messing. There's a big chance.
Yeah, as I said, I think Henry's very strong in the race. I think Final Demand is the worst favourite at Cheltenham, to be honest. As people say you have to forgive him the last day, you have to forgive him for Cheltenham last year as well, I think. I thought he'd no excuses. He's upsized the yellow clay off the bench and he finished a 4/3. So I think this race is very strong. I think the Kate Dahi is a big runner. I think Oscar's brother is a big player as well. Conor King, that'll be some story for them. 2 horses in training. Conor was a brilliant rider, doing well at the training. I presume Dan will keep the ride, never met Mark riding Kate Dahi. So I think this is a very strong race, but I think Henry is well represented.
Okay, very interesting indeed. Blogsy, Final Demand has been he didn't impress me when he won the Grade 1 at Limerick over Christmas time, and obviously very disappointing the last day. He jumped quite poorly the last day as well.
We go back to the Turners or the Ballymore, whatever it was called last year, and he fell in the hole. The Mullins yard had their bollocks on it. They couldn't see it being beat, and he got beat. It wasn't impressive at Limerick. He won an egg and spoon race, and the wheels fell off, didn't they, last time out? And for me, that's game over. There'll be no forgiveness here on this show whatsoever.
Hard man.
Well, Kevin, when you're a poncer, it's your money. It's your spadoolies. You've got to look after those soldiers. They have to come home. So when it comes to horses, you've got to be very hard.
Leave no man behind.
You can't. You've got to prove this. It was interesting listening to what Darragh said there. I'm a big fan of Kay Dorothy, who obviously beat your horse there, and Rachel rode him in a novice hurdle. There was only half a length between them. This horse was bought from Farson Daniela Melli. It came over and was backed in from even money to 2-7 on, fell 5 out. At that time, it was supposed to be Willie Mullins' best novice hurdler. The wheels came off. I don't know what went wrong, but he's come back. He's obviously gone on to win at DRF. He was fiercely impressive at Ferry House, jumped like an absolute buck. I was blown away by that. And interestingly, he was heavily backed on the exchange at the DRF to beat Final Demand very late on. I think he came in from about 7.2 to 4.6. Yeah. It was really strong, knowledgeable money. I jumped on late and had a few quid on and got lucky just following the market. But he's a horse I really like. But I have to say, if Romeo Coolio lines up in this race, Romeo Coolio wins the Brown. Gordon Elliott, what camera do I look at?
Whichever one you want, you pick.
Gordon Elliott, do the right thing. Run Romeo Coolio, the English lads who own it. Run him in this race. Give us the winner of the Browns. Come on.
Johnny the name.
Yeah, like it's a wide open race. I'd be against Final Demand. I think he folded too quickly the last day for my liking anyway. He folded in Cheltenham last year too. So there's a big gaping hole in him. It's wide open race. The ground will make a key would be key here. The big Westerner I think would have a chance if the ground was slow, but I don't think she's going to get her ground. I'd give Wendigo an each way a chance, and particularly if the ground is slow. Maybe not quite as slow as Big Westerner, but I think an E has a chance. But it's 6 or 7 or 8 horses have a chance here. It's one of the more open races, as the bet suggests. It could bet 4 to 192 to field.
Okay, Marky.
Yeah, it's interesting that Cocktail Divan might come here. I thought he was a certainty. I thought he had a very, very good chance in the Jack Richards if he was going there, which he still might. But I'd prefer to see him go there, to be honest. I thought he was a very well in off 150. If he runs here, he's still a big player because I think he's a really good horse. I'm just not quite sure that 3 miles is the right trip for him, but we'll find out next week. Maybe on better ground than when he faced Oscar's brother, he might be okay. I definitely wouldn't be as negative on Final Demand as everyone else. I'm not saying I've not got really strong views on this race, but he hasn't got a massive hole in him, in my opinion. He's won 6 of his 8 career starts. He absolutely bolted up at Punchestown last year. He is a really good horse. Now, Gaelic Warrior did it a couple of years ago at the festival. Factor File's done it this year. Everyone wrote him off, ran crap in the King George. He was a massive price, or bigger price than he probably should have been for his ability at Leopardstown at the DRF. Bolted up. They're not machines. They don't always turn up. They don't always give their running. He didn't really jump as well as he can at Leopardstown, and it is a worry, but he is a really good horse. And you're getting a miles bigger price than you are at any other stage Angel Post subsequent to the DRF. So, listen, I'm not really strong on the race, but I'm definitely not negative on Final Demand like everyone else seems to be.
Okay, we not.
I might do. I haven't backed him. I've had some bets already. I haven't backed him at the moment, but you know, he's around sort of 7. The thing that scares me a little bit, to be perfectly honest, is I don't know exactly what's running. If Romeo Coolio comes in here, I'd be a bit more scared of the race. Generally, I think you know, he's a big player. If Cocktail Divan comes in here, he's a player. So that's why I've kept my powder dry at the moment. Without those two, I'd be perfectly happy taking the price. But at the moment, it's kind of looking like they could end up getting in here, and so I'd just be waiting until final decks. May well play the race on the day, but as I say, I'm not as negative on Final Demand. I do think he's got a few bits of form that suggest he's a very good horse if they've got him right. And I've always thought he was a 3-mile chaser as well, which is what he's going to be doing for the first start.
Okay, Ed.
I'd be similar sentiments to Martin. I wouldn't be as negative on Final Demand, but I can't see the value in him. It'd be Kate Arthur to me. I would be telling Darragh to ride Cocktail Divan because there will be water at Cheltenham next week. I promise you now.
I don't think by listening to Darragh, you need to tell him to go Cocktail.
No, I understand that. Yeah, but I left Cheltenham today. Believe it or not, you think it's raining outside, so you can't see it. It was 16 degrees. I went for a walk this morning and I had a t-shirt on. It's absolutely, and that's been like that for the last 4 days. It's been a pleasure riding out. Sun shining. It's been unbelievable. It's been as warm as spring as I've known. And Cheltenham dries out like there's no tomorrow. That'll be that for me. I do like Oscar's brother again. Connor trains 2 horses, twice champion apprentice. You were probably his agent, were you, Kev?
No.
That's why he was twice champion apprentice.
That's why he was.
No, but I'm just saying, like, he's a great horseman. He knows what he's doing. How he's placed this horse this year has been exceptional, and I think he's the value on that. I wouldn't have a massive opinion on this race, only I just don't think Final Demand is value. I just don't think Final Demand is much value.
Okay, before we move on to the champion chase, and don't worry, we're going to go through the handicaps later on. Novi bet, of course, unbelievable offers, places on the paying out in the first 7 places. So loads of special offers. We are going to have the naps at the end of the night from our panel as well, and Novibet are going to boost the prices as well for the horses that they nap. So don't forget, click on your table and on the barcode and put in a tenner, open up an account, and you get €70 free bet, courtesy of our sponsors tonight, Novibet. Right, we're going to move on to the Champion Chase. Guys, I don't think we're going to spend too much longer in it on the Champion Chase because, Blogsy, it was a big blow for Barry Connell and the race itself. Marine Nationale, unfortunately, won't be there now.
Yeah, it's a great shame. It takes the cross off the race. We were building it as this big matchup, and unfortunately, it's not now. It's a sad state of affairs because I thought it was going to be a cracking race between the two of them. Obviously, Marine Nationale is a course specialist, isn't he? He won the Supreme. He's won the race last year. But he's not there, and we've got to move on. And let's face it, Kevin, you could ride Madsborough and win the Champion Chase.
Ride him. Wouldn't happen.
You could ride him with me on the back here and win the Champion Chase.
Probably would. I'd be on the back of you with my eyes closed, turned the other way, holding on for dear life.
I was talking to a fella there a few days ago over in Meath, and he deals with some of the young French horses who come over. And Madsborough turned up in the yard, and he said, "What's this doing here? That's not a 3-year-old." So he called up the agent from France and said, "You've sent me the wrong horse." He went, No, I've got the passport. That's the right horse. And it turned out it was Madsborough. And he went, "That's a 5-year-old. This horse is an absolute beast. He's a bit of a freak." You go back to his Triumph Hurdle win and look at the horses who are in behind him. Cargazy, multiple winner. Salva, Gary Moore, multiple winner. Nurbury, who sadly passed away, won the big race at Galway, didn't he? Yeah, Galway plate for Joseph O'Brien. Storm Heart, who's favourite for this Coral Cup or Bet MGM, whatever it is. Salvatore Monday and 9. That was a hell of a Triumph Hurdle. It was really, really deep. You know, he's gone. He's had the stinker in the Arkle where he's taken his eye off the prize. He must have seen a filly on the rails with a whiskey in her hand, and he's looked left and looked right. He's chucked that race away. He's the best horse in this race. He destroyed Ledoux Sud in the R4 part of the stakes. I know Johnny, I heard Johnny say he's King's Heladis, but if you're King's Heladis on the rails, I'll be coming up to you with 5 figures in cash to take you on, and I want top price in the market, Johnny, because this is a banker.
Johnny, did you say it lay in before Marine Nationale came out?
I never fucking said that. What's he talking about? For fuck's sake. I'm backing it myself. What's he on about?
I know we all put our hands up, we talk plenty of shite, but the Blogsy brings it to a level, isn't it?
Yeah.
I grew up with horses about Moscow Fire and Well Cheated and Sprinter Sapra, and you look at this renewal of the Champion Chase, and no disrespect to any of the horses in it. In a top, it's a crushing fall at Ascot. I was there that day, and he lay on the floor, God bless his soul, 15 minutes. He looked wounded getting up. I would be amazed if he could win this race. Quixilios, he's 9 years old. He'll probably run into 3rd or 4th. John Bond's not going to line up. Irish Panther, will he be supplemented for the race? And if they do, they'd be happy to be 3rd or 4th. It's the weakest renewal in history. We're looking at a genuine 170 chaser here. I want to be all over.
Okay, Johnny, you're basically everything the Blogsy said.
I fancied Madsborough with Marine Nationale in, and obviously I fancy him with a mouse. But I do think if he's jumping the holes up, I think he'll win. I'd really prefer if Marine Nationale was running and chance him at 13-8, because I think he probably has the same chance. If he does his business, he'll bolt in. But there is obviously that he has jumping frailties. But I never ever once said I was going lane him.
Blogsy still was suffering from jet lag.
It must be, I don't know, milk and magnesia.
Last year was a bloodbath.
Okay, Martin, you say my opinion.
I'd be very much the same. I think he's easily the best horse in the race by a mile. We all know the jumping flaws potentially, but they weren't there last time. He's won 6 of 10 career starts. He's never been beaten more than 3 1/4 lengths, so he's never run a shocker, even allowing for the fact that he's made the odd mistake. And you're looking at a second favourite in Ledoux Sud, who he finished ahead of in last year's Arkle, despite leaving his back legs and losing 5 or 6 lengths at the second last. So he's a much better horse than everything else in here. No reason to take him on. Like Johnny, I was hoping that Marine Nationale was in, because I would have been heavily with him at the prices that he was then. to be fair, you're still getting just above evens on the exchanges at the moment, which I think is very fair. But people might be out to get him because of the fact they've got a chance with a jumping. But aside from that, I don't think there's any issues. He should win.
I know he was brilliant the last day. Cheap pieces on him. They obviously helped him concentrate and change of tactics as well, jumping wise. Maybe that's why he was making the mistakes. He was just lacking a little bit of concentration.
Yeah, well, I think he needs to go left-handed. So they ran him right-handed first earlier on this season. Obviously, he was going out into the rails all the time. Next time back at Leopardstown, he was ridden with a bit more restraint, which I don't think really suits him. You know, they were maybe just trying to get a bit of confidence into him. I don't know, but he was, for what he is and what he wants to do, he was a little bit negatively ridden, I think, and maybe it helped him for the next day. I don't know, but when the cheek pieces were fired on and he was ridden forward, we saw a different horse. That's what you're going to get at Cheltenham. And as I say, providing his jumping doesn't hold him back, there isn't anything just on ability that can get near him, in my opinion.
Okay, Aidan.
Well, I will say one thing though. You know, I agree with when he was ridden the other day, and I just literally watched on my phone again. He was in front last year, halfway down the back in the Arkle, so he was ridden like he was a Leopardstown before. And I always hate a horse that roots a fence and then 2 fences later does the exact same thing, because that just brings a whole level of stupidity into me. For me, most horses, if they hit a fence, they won't make a stake till the next day or something like that. He kicked the fourth last out of the ground and did the same 2 fences later. To me, that's inexcusable. I know he was brilliant the last day at Leopardstown, but one swallow doesn't make a summer. By far the best horse in this race, but he's no certainty because I just can't have his jumping. I didn't have a strong opinion on this race until I spoke to Darragh there just on the side, and I'm going to let him tell you his opinions in a second. He's going to be talking about Quilixios, who was upsides in front in last year's champion chase, as we all know. Lotus Sud second favourite. It just goes to show that, like the champion hurdle, is a very open champion chase. I do think it is Margerbers to lose, but I think he will lose it in the jumping.
Okay, Darragh, Quilixios, and obviously the former champion chase winner, Captain Guinness, he's going to run as well, but you're going to ride Quilixios.
Yeah, 2 of them are going to run. You know, Quilixios, I was there rode him last year. I was outside Marine National when he fell. Look, he was running a blinder. Captain Guinness will run well. I thought he ran better the other day, and the driver now will suit him. But I think Quilixios is up there, definitely. His record fresh is good. You know, Marsborough was spectacular the last day. Like, you know, was unbelievable. And from start to finish, the cheap pieces, everything worked a treat. I think the ground really suited him. I do think slower ground brings out the best of him, to be honest. And he's, like Aidan said, I wouldn't be, you know, he's 4 to 6 or whatever he is, but it'll only take one mistake, you know, you know, he won't keep. Yeah, I don't think he win a champion chase by doing what he did last year, you know. I think his least impressive jumping performance last year was in Cheltenham. And, you know, at the ditch, he left his hind legs in it, the same at the second run. Like, there's no doubt he's potentially, like, he is the best horse of the race, but, you know, you don't have to, if you go back to when he ran in Cork, you know, I heard, you know, people saying, geez, well, this hill on a button trip and everything, you know, so I think the last day performance was wow, but I think the champion chase as a whole, like, he wouldn't be the first odds on shot to get beaten as well. It's definitely a race, and I've done a couple of these previews, like, it's definitely a race that the favourite can be beaten in, and I'd be very much worried about his jumping.
Quilixios, the last time we saw him was when he fell at Cheltenham last season.
Yeah, no, he kicked up a little injury when he fell that day, but all is good with it. He's touch wood. He's working really well. He's in good order. See him there this morning. He's even been making Fenty Twitter pages and everything. He's done Fenty's sea swimming and things like that. So no, he's in good order, and his rep are fresh, I suppose. So yeah, I think he'll have a crack at it.
It'll be some training by Henry de Bromhead if he can pull it off.
Yeah, no, exactly. But you know, and he's a great record in the race as well, doesn't he? You know, so and the champion chase can throw up, you know, like the likes of El Fabioli and all them horses getting beaten it. So Duban as well. Duban, yeah. I just think, like, the jumping is a big worry, like, you know, for the favourite, I think, anyway. And like, he's prone to making the mistakes. You know, the cheekies work well the first day, but, you know, they always don't work well the second either, you know. So, yeah, it's be interesting.
But the question for Darragh there, Henry's horses at Cheltenham, they're just absolutely unbelievable. How does he always get delivering better than A1 for that lead?
Well, I think he kind of runs to most of them at Christmas and kind of backs off them a bit dead. And he doesn't really go to the Dublin Racing Festival, and he's always quiet in the New Year. But yeah, like, even you kind of see them all there, all the Cheltenham ones. They look great. They're in good order, and you know, I bought them rate ones from over the like last few years. There's something could be 50-1, like, and you're coming out and last with a chance to it. Like, you know what, they do outwin themselves. So yeah, I think the drying ground will suit most of it, you know.
Yeah, some training.
Okay, that's day 2. We're going to have a quick 10-minute break. We're going to come back. We're going to rattle through day 3 and 4. We'll get our best bets from our panel. Novibet, of course, are enhancing, price boosting the best bets from our panel. And we'll speak about some of the handicaps as well. Novibet for playing out in the first 7 places in each of the handicaps over the first over the 4 days of the Cheltenham Festival. Don't forget, new customer exclusive, bet €10, get a €70 in free bets with our sponsors Novibet here tonight.